You're listening to Evenings with Andrew Daddo.
All right, I want you to think back to your earliest fantasy, career fantasy, maybe 15, 16, and you thought, I want to be in a band, man. Have we all sat around with a few mates and gone, man, let's start a band? You go, you don't play anything. And you go, okay, I'll be the singer. But you don't play anything. Yeah, I'll be the singer too. Well, a bunch of guys got together and put a band together and called it Speed Orange. And Speed Orange did all right. They did even better when they got a record deal. I'll play a bit of this, one of their songs, and then we'll talk to the frontman, Tony Jackson, about how they've gone and life in a band that's just doing all right. Is it the dream that you might have thought of? So this is Tall Flowers, Speed Orange.
Seems like wherever I go, whatever I see, they're chopping down every minute of every hour. Tall flowers, God forgive a good man should rise for his pride. A tall flower, the bloodhounds and weeds gather round, feeling sour, and for God's sake, please don't bring them down. There's not enough good souls around. Your hips may not swing to their sound. For God's sake, please don't bring them down. Don't bring them down. Chance upon a woman's dream, she saw seeds of tall flowers, and could a life ever escape? No mistake, it's still flowers. They dive into a history, the ashes of yesterday. Fuel the power, the prince sticks the fingers, the throttle, the fraud, a believer. And tall flowers, and for God's sake, please don't bring them down. There's not enough good souls around. Your hips may not swing to their sound. For God's sake, don't bring them down. Don't bring them down. To pull out your sword, 'cause you were born. Jealousy's a thing behind your swing, and to pull out your sword, 'cause you were born. Jealousy's a thing behind your swing. It's all flowers, 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 flowers. For God's sake, please don't bring them down. There's not enough good souls around. Your hips may not swing to their sound. For God's sake, please don't bring them down. Don't bring them down.
That is Tall Flowers from the album The Virgin of Guadalupe, as reviewed by German radio as Speed Orange between Neil Young and the Byrds. Settle down somewhere. They surely play times beschwingen, 50s a twang, times modern alternative, a country with slide guitar, times a hymnischen midnight sound of oil. How about that for a review, Tony Jackson?
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. That was very much a direct translation. They don't translate very well when you just put them into the computer and knock them out as a straight English translation.
Right. So listen, your band is a really interesting position, an Australian band, and yet you're getting pretty good attention, I understand, in Germany.
Yeah.
But not so much attention here. Is this part of a more global music scene and the internet, or is it just that they've really taken new music and we haven't caught up with it yet?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe they see us as being maybe a bit exotic coming from Australia, even though I've got an English accent. I've lived here most of my life. So, I don't know. I think they've took to it. It's something different for them. I mean, we've struggled to kind of make a mark here so far.
Yeah.
But, we managed to hook up with a UK label and we've got a German distributor. And we got on radio over there, and they took to it, So
all right. Well, let's before we get to your success in other parts. You say you struggle to make your mark here. So how are things, as a struggling band? What's the reality of it?
Well, the reality is that you believe in what you're doing, so you get right into what you're doing. You think you've got a great set of songs, and the reality is that you kind of slop them around different record companies and you send out your CDs left, right, and centre, and not a lot of calls come back, and you kind of it's easy to get disheartened.
Right, but I mean, obviously you haven't. Well, maybe you have been disheartened. Has there been what's been the best moment so far? Was that when this CD came out, when you got the hard copy in your hands?
Well, I think being a band that's just playing around Melbourne, the best moments are kind of the first reviews, when the first reviews that come through that are good. Not that reviews would kind of dictate what we do, because we're going to do it anyway. But the first review, the one that came through that you just quoted then, we're all quite big Neil Young fans. So when they out of the blue kind of quoted us as being somewhere close to Neil Young, we all kind of took that as being a career high. Right.
and then does a good review offer hope, and then often sometimes it's false hope?
Well, I guess so. I mean, we kind of, you've got to peddle whatever reviews you get.
Yeah.
So we took that review and obviously straight away printed it, because it's all we've really got. So we've got, other than the tunes, you've got to kind of peddle whatever hype you can get, really, and I mean, it's the name of the game. At the end of the day, you're doing it honest, and you're doing it the best of your ability, but you've got to play a little bit of the game. I mean, it's about getting people interested.
Was it a surprise to you to learn there was actually a game around the music industry, and it's not just great music makes sales and gets attention?
No, I think we were all pretty aware of that, actually. So I don't think it was much of a surprise to us. We all knew that actually it wasn't a particularly attractive industry like that. Particularly when you're dealing with, I think it's art and commerce. Art and commerce have always been kind of odd bedfellows.
Yeah.
So you've got people on one hand who are making music, and then the people whose job it is to sell it. And a lot of those people, who sell it are actual music lovers as well. But there's some people who are just not really that interested in the music. They're looking for what they can flog quickly, and then move on to the next item.
And what they can glean from it as well.
Yeah, and when you've got people who's actually, it means a lot to them, like our band are all very passionate. We're not particularly interested in being rich or famous, but we'd love to do it as a job day to day. We it's the thing we love to do the most.
Yeah, well, you said before, it was nice to have a good review, but you were going to do it anyway. When you did get a record company interested in your work, what was that like?
Well, that was immensely.
And how long did it take?
Immensely flattering. It took a long time.
Yeah.
It took a long time, and sending out CDs and finally getting somebody coming back. And to be honest, it sounds all very kind of glamorous. We've got a UK label, and they're a brilliant label, and they do great work for us. But they're a very small label in the UK, and they're very, music passionate.
Right.
So, we're really happy to kind of be there.
Yeah.
And, particularly because they're very into the music, and I actually think sometimes that they'd make economically negative decisions based on the fact that they think the music should go elsewhere.
Right. And so they're the ones who put the music in Germany. My understanding is that as good as it is to have some success in Germany, you can't actually afford to go there and enjoy that success. Is that right?
No, we can't. It's very expensive to take 4 guys who are, got day jobs.
Yeah.
And get out to Germany and do a festival. I mean, there's opportunities there for us. And we've looked into things. There's a few things that, like the government do. They do grants.
Yeah.
But it's all very competitive.
Right.
people trying to get those grants. So we put in a few for that to try and get over there and do a couple of the summer festivals in Germany. But, you know, at the end of the day, that it is very competitive. There's a lot of people in this game. So, you know, we're not, you know, fussed by the fact that, you know, we're not got there. But, I mean, we understand that there's very few places on those gigs.
So how frustrating is it to know that you could, well, if you had the resources, I mean, you could be massive, mate, massive.
Well, thank you, Andrew.
But do you think about that? Like, do you sit around as a band and after playing a pub with, you know, 100 people there thinking, geez, imagine if we played 100,000?
Yeah, well, there's some gigs, and I can't say it's every gig, but there's some gigs where we just get people coming up and just being so passionate about what they've seen.
Right.
Yeah, and you do get that feeling. You're like, crikey. If somebody was behind us, we'd be moving.
Yeah, and is it?
But at the end of the day, honestly, at the end of the day, and I know this sounds like completely idealistic, but at the end of the day, you know, you've got one life, you're born and you die, and in the middle, you know, we're going to make music. When we really are kind of in that mindset, I think we'd be incredibly disappointed if everything was about a kind of perceived level of success.
Yeah, I think as a musician, it's probably smart to have that mindset as well, that we want to make our music and we don't necessarily want to, you know, make millions of dollars, because there aren't many bands who do it.
No, there aren't. It's really kind of like a lottery, isn't it?
Mm.
And it's like very much like acting. There's a million actors out there, and they, you know, everyone wants to star role.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, to be honest, I think it'd be excellent if there was kind of some system, if we completely trashed the system, and we had some kind of system where, you know, you pulled 80 grand a year and you did it as a job. You know, it'd be excellent. If I had to do this 5 days a week, and my job was to go in, write tunes, put them out, and I pulled my 80 plus super, bring it on.
Right. Well, I mean, I suppose that would be the dream for you, wouldn't it? What's it like playing? What's it like playing in a pub where, you know, there really aren't many people, that, you know, someone stumped up or the money? I don't know how bands and pubs work, but you turn up and there's, you know, you've got 15 people. Is that, do you treat that as a jam session and let's really work on our songs, or?
Yeah, well, there's
try and convert them.
Two stories to that. One is we did play a gig once where we played to the bar staff.
Right.
Yeah, and we went in there. We were supposed to play like an hour gig, and we ended up playing for a couple of hours and running through tunes we hadn't played for ages. And the bar staff were kind of fine, and we just said, do you mind if we just stay up here? And we treated it like a live rehearsal.
Right.
And then there was another thing. There's a guy I know who's in an English band called the Blow Monkeys in England. He's a mate of mine. They're kind of popular in England in the 80s, and he was you know, they were top 10 and everything like that. And I went on a tour with him around the UK, and he was playing to pubs, you know, in Glasgow that had like 200 people, and pubs in Dundee that had 3. And it was the same gig every night. And I think if you're going to do this, and it means something to you, and you're not interested particularly in fame, but you're interested in, like, you know, talking to people and communicating with music, he played that same gig every night, regardless of whatever people, and that stuck with me, and it stuck with us. So regardless if there's 2 people there or 2,000, I think we're pretty much going to put on the same gig.
Right.
You've got to go out there and spit it out. You can't kind of respond to whether you're going to be adored or not.
Yeah. Just got to believe in the music, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
no, it sounds great.
It sounds like a cliche, but
it's true.
Totally true.
There's an awful lot of truth in cliches. Look, let's stop talking and we'll let people have a listen to the music. So the band is Speed Orange. The album is The Virgin of Guadalupe. Tony Jackson, pleasure to speak with you, and I hope you and the rest of the guys find your way to Germany to enjoy some of the success that you would clearly like, but not necessarily pine for.
Yeah, but I must get this in, though. Remember, David Hasselhoff has been very successful in Germany. Before anybody else says that, I'm saying it first. So thank you, Andrew.
Good on you, Tony. Nice to talk to you.
Cheers.
See
bye.
you, mate. Bye.
It's true, you ran when the light was on me, all the world to see. The warrior was wrong. It's true, fight when the fire is all gone. The battle still rages on. All the love is all gone. Oh mama, what do I do now? I need a miracle somehow. What do I do now? A wise man, he won't run from the whispering sun. Cast a light on all he's done. It's all inside of you, my son. All you seek is found in the tumbling tears. Another clue with every year. It's all inside of you, my son. Mama, what do I do now? I need a miracle somehow. What do I do now? Mama, what do I do now? I need a miracle somehow. What do I do now? Mama, what do I do now? I need a miracle somehow. What do I do now? Mama, what do I do now? I need a miracle somehow. What do I